Okay, cameras up there. My name is Daryl Rollins from Gallagher. This is Camille Moffett. We're both from Gallagher. We're part of your benefits brokering team. We work closely with your HR department to go through and help the county make decisions on all things benefits. We've got some great news for you today. There's not a lot of changes. That's the biggest hurrah for the county and all of the employees today, that there are not a lot of big changes. There are a few changes, subtle changes, small changes we're going to go through. But mostly the point of this meeting today is to remind you of what benefits you have available. The county works incredibly hard. Your HR department works incredibly hard all year long to try to make sure, yes, they deserve it. Thank you.
They're not sitting next to me.
They honestly put in so much time and energy and effort into you. They care tremendously about you. And the benefits that you have today, Camille and I work on a lot of different groups up and down the state, from both public entity, private entity. There are not a lot of organizations that are as dedicated to their benefits programs as your county is today. So we just want to let you guys know that, in insurance and in benefits, a lot of times it's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of good news this year that not a lot of things are changing, not a lot of costs are changing, and if they are, they're incremental. But we just wanted to give a quick shout out before I pass the time to Camille to go through all the benefits in detail, and we have a lovely panel of carrier reps here to answer specific questions specifically about their products and programs. So if you have specific questions related to whether it be vision or dental or anything, be sure to talk to them out in the hallway and take some swag home. Nobody wants to have any swag left in their cars when we're all done, when everything is said and done. So I'm going to let Camille go through the bulk of the slides and then have a couple of the carrier reps come up and talk about their programs and try to get out of here within the hour and get you guys some day back. Camille?
Thank you, Daryl. As you said, I'm Camille, and I keep joking this morning that I don't need to run in my life because I get a runner's high from doing open enrollment meetings. Genuinely, I'm that cool of a person. So like Daryl said, we are so excited to go over your benefits package with you. You guys have a very robust benefit package, and you guys are really the backbone of the Box Elder County community. And the county's here to take care of you. So thank you for all that you do. I'm excited to go over your benefits. First up, we're going to talk about medical. You can hit the next slide for me. Do you want to change slides? Perfect. I'm sorry, I didn't see that it had changed. Okay. So open enrollment is the one time of the year that you'll be able to make changes to your elections. The only exception to that is if you had what's called a qualifying life event during the year. That's something like marriage or divorce, birth or adoption of a child. So my one insurance joke that I make is, okay guys, get ready. I would hate for you guys to forget to enroll during open enrollment and have to divorce somebody that you love or marry somebody that you hate just so that way you can get on benefits throughout the year. Thank you so much. So just be sure that if you have any of those qualifying life events that you notify HR within those 30 days. Thank you so much for the pity laugh. I appreciate it. So we are going to be staying with PEHP for the new year. We are really excited about that. They're a great carrier. I know they've had some changes that they went through this year. They've been working really hard. Thanks to the feedback of the county to make everything as perfect as possible for everybody. So we're going to have our traditional plan and our high deductible plan. These are staying the same. There is one small tweak that Daryl referred to. So in order to qualify to be a high deductible health plan, there are certain limits set by the IRS. So they just barely tweaked that to where it used to be $1,500 for the individual to being $1,600 for an individual. That was not Box Elder's choice, that was the government's choice. Well, the federal government's choice, I should say, the IRS. So there is that small tweak there in order to, and that's the absolute lowest it can be to qualify as a high deductible health plan. I love high deductible health plans, especially when it's as low as this one, because you're able to put money into your HSA, your health savings account, to contribute those pre-tax dollars, spend tax-free, grow tax-free, and help prepare for your future. We do also have a new pharmacy program for 2024. So PEHP has contracted with an alternative pharmacy funding program to help lower those pharmacy costs for you. If you're on a medication that qualifies for this program, because not every medication really is expensive and needs to be worried about, you will be contacted by PEHP about 30 days before to say, hey, we need a little bit of information from you to be sure that we can get you this pharmacy prescription at the lowest cost available for you. So if they reach out to you, if you're seeing an unknown phone number calling you 30 days before, please answer it because they're really just there to help save you money. And they'll talk with you and let you know that you would need to stay through that pharmacy funding program throughout the rest of the year in order to get that reduced price on your medication. So I think that's really awesome that PEHP is doing that for you guys. They really care, the PEHP and the county, about you guys saving as much of your money on your pharmaceuticals. So I'm excited about that. We're going to hand it over to Jody to talk about wellness. Yay, Jody.
I stand right here, right? Okay, so as you know, we care about your well-being, and PEHP likes to put things together for you that will help you with your mental health and managing diabetes, also creating some healthy habits like you do on your My Wellness Tracker that we'll talk about in a minute. And we want to have you keep kind of your active lifestyle, make sure that you're getting up from your desks every once in a while and moving around and taking the stairs when you can. And then also healthy eating. We have a 250-page cookbook online, and we add recipes to it every once in a while, switch out recipes, and so that's there for you. And next, thank you. He's good at that. We have a new page where all of this is stored, so it's really nice that you will be able to choose your own path to wellness. So similar to if you do My Wellness Tracker on your WellRight app, you're able to choose what you want to do. And as you know, how many of you have done the biometric screening? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So when they come up, when Healthy Utah testers come up to do the biometric screening, you're going to be able to get a chance to get $50 from that, and then 50 more if you just do some of the little activities that are on that Choose Your Path to Wellness page. So if you have your phone with you and you want to do that QR code now, or if you want to come and get a handout from me out at the table, we've got it on a handout as well. And we have webinars and challenges and lots of different things, and also some classes. Yeah, thanks. And then you can win prizes. So as you can see, those prizes are pretty amazing. We're going to do the drawing on December 15th. So if you are going to sign up for something, you do have to do 10. And this is also available to your spouse on the plan. So go ahead and register for things. They're email-based. They're really easy. If you want to watch webinars, they're only like 30 minutes, and you can just have them playing in the background while you work or whatever you want to do. But you can see we're going to give away an e-bike. We're giving away a hunting scope that's a $600 hunting scope. We've got paddle boards and weight sets and golf clubs and all of that. Yes.
Are those taxed?
You know what? I'm so glad that you asked that. No. What we're going to do, you know what? That is such a great, yeah, because a lot of times when you win prizes, they tax them. So she asked if the prizes were taxed, and no, they're not. Yep, they'll just have you, actually, we did it through Amazon, so they'll just have you order it, and who knows? Or actually, we'll order it and have it shipped to your house. But, if you end up not liking it, you can just return it to Amazon. Anyway, so My Wellness Tracker. So how many of you are signed up for My Wellness Tracker? Do you want to raise the hands? Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, there's a couple of you. A couple of you should be telling the other people, do it, because you get up to $150, and then your spouse can also get up to $150. So $300 extra money at the end of the year is very helpful. In fact, I think they pay it out in January, so that actually means you will have like money back into your account after you've spent it all for the holidays. So you get those rewards, and you can choose to have your you just do the app on your phone or on a desktop or wherever you want to on your regular laptop, things like that. And then Healthy Utah rebates are still available. So don't forget that we have all of those other rebates that you can make if you quit smoking, or if you have a baby, you get a rebate, or if they're even a dependent on your plan has a child, then they will get a rebate. And last but not least, is that my very last one? Oh, so there's your information if you want to take a picture of that with your phone, or I'm sure Jenica and the girls will send out the slides, so you'll have that. But you just go to that site, you use that registration company code, which is My Wellness Jan. For Jan is for January, and then there's your member support email if you have any issues logging in. Okay, so with that, we will turn it over to Camille. And thank you.
As a middle child, this thrills me that I get to come up here twice and have attention on me even more. So the county here, you guys do a really awesome job at wellness. It blows my mind. You guys are the best that I've ever seen with their wellness. You know, we just had Jody talk about PEHP. I'm going to touch on the county wellness just briefly, but as you know, you've got your resources with Mariana and the rest of HR to help with any of this county wellness. So you have to earn 16 points in total, 8 in the first half of the year through June, 8 in the second half of the year through December. There's some examples of like different kinds of ways that you can earn points here for doing that biometric screening. You know, those biometric screenings, those numbers can be a real indicator of your health. So kind of just get familiar with those, learn what those mean. And then when you complete your wellness program, when you get those points, you're able to save even more money on your medical premiums. How good is that, right? I am so happy that you guys have this chance to save money on your premiums by doing your wellness program. Okay, next we're going to talk about dental. Are they in here? Hello, awesome.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? I like to hear that. Great. My name is LJ. I come up here every year to go over your dental insurance again. Thank you for your continued support with Dental Select. You have a great insurance plan. Make sure you use the plan. So let's go over the dental. Okay. Individual deductible is $25. Family deductible is $75. So that only applies towards your basic and major services. It does not apply towards your preventative. And everyone starts off at $1,200, okay? So each year we reward you. We give you a certain amount. One year you may just need your cleaning, maybe a filling every now and then, and maybe the following year you need to have major work done. Just remember that it increases. It goes to $1,300, $1,500, $1,800, then it caps out at $2,000. So just remember that you probably reach, you guys are probably at that $2,000 mark. That's what you'll have to go towards your dental, and that includes your preventative, basic, and major services. Your preventative is covered at 100%. That's cleaning, exams, and x-rays 2 times in a calendar year, anytime. So I encourage you, if you're paying for this policy, at least go get that done, okay, to stay healthy. So sometimes it does cut down on costs, but if you continue to have a toothache and wait, and it might just be a filling that you need to have, done, but if you continue to wait, it might end up having major services like a root canal and a crown. So try to do that. And if you go in and your dentist gives you a treatment plan, anything over $300, we do recommend a predetermination. Predetermination comes over to Dental Select, and we process it. We send it back to your dentist, letting you know what Dental Select's portion is and then what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be. And then your basic services are which are going to be your fillings, root canals, extraction, oral surgery, we cover that at 20%. You're responsible for, we cover that at 80%. You're responsible for 20% after your $25 deductible if that has not been satisfied. Major services are going to be crowns, bridges, and dentures, full implant coverage. We cover that at 50%, and then you're responsible for the other 50%. This has ortho benefit, which is totally separate than from your dental. So anyone under age 19 will cover 50% for a lifetime of $1,500. A really good benefit from your company. We were purchased by Emeritus 3 years ago. So everyone received new cards that says Emeritus Dental Select. We just made that transition. You are still with Dental Select. You have your Dental Select insurance, and you still have those same providers. Okay, just remember that. And does anyone have any questions? Yes?
What is the 12-month waiting period?
That is for a brand new employee that's coming on. We'll have a 12 months waiting period for major and ortho. Good question. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes?
I still have a bunch of stuff that was denied because of the buyout. So when's that going to be cleaned up?
Come and talk to me at my table, and I will definitely get your information down, and we will clear that up as soon as possible. Okay, and what's your name?
Cody.
Oh, okay, Cody. All right, so come and see me. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, you guys take care and have a wonderful day. Oh, yes. We did. Yes, And if you want me to, if we need to send you a new one, just come and see me and we'll get you a new one. What happens when we send new cards out, just so there's not identity theft, it just comes in a white envelope. And so a lot of people think it's junk mail and they just throw it away. But we're trying to do it for your protection. That happens to me too. I kind of thumb through it and I says, yeah, this doesn't look important. They go, yeah, we sent you a new bank card. And I'm like, well, it ended up in the garbage. So that's, we can resolve those issues right away, okay? Again, thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm with Opticare Vision Services, and I'm going to go over your plans. I believe you all have an eye exam through your medical, so this is a hardware-only voluntary plan. The way our plans work is there's 3 networks. There's the Select Network, there's in-network, and there's out-of-network. On the slide, you don't see the out-of-network, but I wanted to bring that up because I think it's crucial that everybody knows that you can use your benefits at Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, online, and you just submit your form on our website. You just fill it out and hit click with your receipt, and it comes over and we'll process your claims. With our plans, you have a $120 allowance either towards frames or contacts. It's not both. If you actually get contacts, you get a discount on backup glasses. So if you are a contact wearer, I suggest using your benefit on your contacts and not your glasses, so you can use it for both. In the Select Network, that's all standard optical locations. You have richer allowances in there where you're going to get your single vision, bifocal, and trifocal lenses 100% covered. And then there's a discount or a copay on progressive lenses and discounts on transitions and polarized. Now, on the contact lenses, you have a $120 allowance. In the in-network, which is going to be Shopco, VisionWorks, iMart Express, a couple other locations, and independent doctors, you are going to have a $110 allowance. And you can go on our website and type in provider locator, enter the zip code wherever you're at. You could be in California and enter in 90210, and it's going to pop up all of the in-network locations there for you. So you can use your benefits outside of the state as well. Also, on our online, you can go on there and register for our member portal where you can print your own card and see your benefits and your allowances year to date. So with your plan, it's January 1 till December 31st. So if you currently have vision right now and haven't used your benefit, you'll want to get in and take care of that. Just like dental, it's really important that you utilize your eye benefits and make sure you can see. Does anyone have any questions for me? Any challenges with vision or anything? Yes.
So it's just it doesn't include like the exam, right? It's just,
Yeah, your exam, I believe, is covered through your medical.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's hardware only. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, Andrea. So we are going to talk next, see 3 times up here, it's my dream, about the health savings account and the flexible spending account. In order to be qualified to contribute to the HSA, you need to be on that high deductible health plan. And in order to contribute to the flex spending for medical, you need to be on the traditional plan. So health savings accounts, why are those so awesome? I touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's really the only benefit of its kind where it's got that triple tax advantage. You contribute pre-tax dollars, and then you can grow it tax-free, you can invest it, and then you can spend it tax-free on qualified expenses. Now, Camille, what's a qualified expense? It's not going to be shopping at J. Crew or something like that. As much as that would be nice, there are hundreds of things you can spend it on. You can see a full list if you were to Google IRS, what can I spend my HSA dollars on? But you can put it towards your co-pays, towards your co-insurances, towards your deductible, on your medications. You can spend it on those frames that we were just talking about. You can spend it on, maybe you need that filling or a root canal. You can spend all kinds of ways that those monies, which I think is so, so great. You can see here that we've got the limits. The IRS was super nice and is allowing us this year to contribute even more money towards our HSA, which I know I keep talking about it. I love that. Additionally, if you're on the high deductible health plan, the county will contribute money towards your HSA. That is so cool. As I work for an insurance broker and I see a lot of employers' contributions, you have very generous contributions from the county. So I hope you really take advantage of that because it's so cool. Next, we're going to talk about the flexible spending accounts. So flex spending accounts, there's going to be a change in the IRS for how much money we can put in the flex spending. IRS has not yet announced that. I don't know why, but they haven't. So they are anticipating that number in red will increase a little bit, maybe a couple $100. But once we get that, we'll be sure to get that released. Flex spending works a little bit differently than the health spending account, the HSA. So the FSA dollars, you can contribute those pre-tax, and then you can spend it tax-free. It doesn't grow tax-free. And those dollars, you're really going to want to maybe do a little math and think, how often do I really go to the doctor? How much am I really going to spend on my medications? Because the money in there is use it or lose it. So you're going to want to kind of anticipate, do a little math on that. Whereas with the HSA, the money that you put in there is there forever. And it rolls over year after year until you spend it. We also, like I said, just be sure to kind of estimate it wisely beforehand in order to contribute to that FSA. I'm going to hand it over to Daryl to talk about some of our Transamerica benefits.
So Transamerica is your supplemental insurance carrier. Supplemental insurance, these are different policies than the policy we just talked about in one major way, and that is who they pay. So when I may have to file a claim with my PHP insurance and all insurances for that matter, I have to pull money out of my own pocket to cover a deductible or expense. With these products, with these supplemental health insurance, when I make a claim on any one of these policies, they send me money. And that's a nice benefit. And what I get to do with that money is entirely up to me. A lot of people will use it for their outstanding medical expenses, things like deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance, etc. But because it's just money directly back to your pocket, you get to use that money however you need it for. It could go to your everyday living expenses, such as mortgages, rent, utilities, gas, groceries, vacations, new car, whatever you need it for. It's your money. You get to spend it on however you want. So there's a couple of different policies that are available from the county for you to purchase if you would like to through the UKG. The first one we're going to talk about is a hospital indemnity plan. The way this plan works is if I'm admitted into the hospital for at least 24 hours or more, I receive a $1,000 initial confinement benefit. If I'm admitted for more than 1 day, I get $100 every day after that. And if I'm included into the ICU, I'm getting a $200 benefit. A lot of people will use this policy if they're thinking about adding kids to their family. So if I'm thinking about having another child, I'll want to sign up for this policy so that when I have the baby or when my wife has the baby, I can get up to $1,200, $1,400 depending on how long we stay in the hospital for recovery. Again, that's a great, nice little perk to cover some of the out-of-pocket costs for being admitted into the hospital. The second plan we have available is my personal favorite. It's an accident plan. How many of us have kids that have ever said the words, "Hey mom, hey dad, watch me do this"? Okay, a few of you. I heard some chuckles back there. All right, for maybe some of you, maybe it's like, hey, maybe you hear these words instead. "Hey hun, hold my beer." No judgments, right? So accidents are just the funniest thing in my career, my professional career that I've ever heard. When somebody has said to me, "Well, I don't really want to buy that," and I've asked them just genuinely, "Well, tell me why," and they'll say, "I don't plan on being in an accident." Well, we don't plan on being in accidents. Accidents just happen. In fact, over the weekend, I was with some friends, and one of my friends was longboarding down a sidewalk and happened to hit a rock. You all know where this is going, right? Hit a rock, went end over, and landed on his head. Fractured his skull and fractured his jaw and got a concussion. Now, every single one of us in the room is thinking, why wasn't he wearing a helmet? We all agree he should have been wearing a helmet, but that he wasn't. So we took him to the hospital, got diagnosed, was actually admitted into the hospital into the intensive care for 48 hours for observation. That's kind of just protocol for hospitals for a head injury like that. If he had an accident plan like this, the accident plan would pay $1,000 for being admitted in the hospital, another couple $1,000s for the fracture of the skull, another couple hundred for the jaw fracture, plus additional daily benefits and any follow-up work that's going to be coming up too. So he's going to be able to make a claim for like about $5,000 for this head injury that he suffered over the weekend. And obviously, $5,000 doesn't have a huge amount when you think about like life-changing accidents, but in terms of like he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. But he's going to have to miss some time off of work, recover, have some additional medical costs, and so all those things just add up. So having a nice couple thousand extra $1,000 to cover in that scenario is really great. Additionally, you see there in yellow, this plan will pay $150 for having a wellness screening annually. Now, what is a wellness screening? That's doing a preventative exam, that's doing a cancer screening, it's doing blood work. It's coming to the wellness fair and participating in your biometric. So if you're planning on coming to the biometric screening fair in February to get your wellness points for the wellness plan, and you have this accident plan, you're going to get $150 just for participating in the program. And then if your spouse comes and participates too, you get another $150 for your spouse doing one of those preventative exams. So it's a great way of incentivizing to, again, come to the wellness fair. Two other plans are available from Transamerica. One's a critical illness plan. This critical illness plan covers in the event of heart attacks, strokes, and other critical illnesses. It pays a lump sum amount for being diagnosed with one of those events, $10,000 on average. This plan also has a wellness benefit attached to it, same $150. So if I have a wellness benefit, if I have the accident plan and I have the critical illness plan, and I go do my wellness fair at the Wellbeing Fair in February, how much money am I going to get back? I'm getting $300 because they're going to stack on top of each other. So I'm going to get a bunch of money back from having that policy. We also have a cancer plan. The cancer plan covers in the event of a person's ever diagnosed with cancer and pays out benefits depending on if you're having chemo, radiation, surgery, hospital stays, even travel expenses. If you have to go to the U, and you live outside of a certain radius, it'll pay per mile you drive to get to the U and back. And this plan also has another $150 cancer screening benefit. So if I have the critical illness, the accident plan, and the cancer plan, and I go and participate and get my wellness checkup in February at the wellness fair, how much money am I getting back? $450. And if my spouse participates, I'm getting $900 back on all these three plans. Guys, that covers about 90% of the entire premium for all three of these plans. And depending on if you are just an insured and spouse on the policy, it'll cover more than the premium. So it's free insurance, it's free coverage. Awesome. I'm going to just touch on the voluntary short-term disability too while I'm up here. So you have a couple of different disability options. Your long-term disability coverage, we'll talk about life first. The life insurance is provided by the Hartford, and the Hartford pays $25,000 for you as a beneficiary, and this is just paid for by the county. Your spouse also qualifies for a $10,000 benefit, and your children has a $2,000 benefit. That's frankly, it's kind of just a barrel benefit. You have the option of buying into a voluntary life insurance program through the Hartford, and there are different benefit amounts depending on how much coverage you would like to have, up to $600,000. Now, you also have a guaranteed issue amount of $450,000. What that guaranteed issue amount means is that with no questions asked, Hartford is not going to ask any questions about your health, your prescriptions, your health history, your family history. You can qualify for a $450,000 life insurance policy with no questions asked. Your spouse can get up to $30,000 and dependents can get up to $10,000. And each year, you can add another $5,000 to that policy with no questions asked as an incremental buyout program, okay? You have 2 disability products that are available. The long-term disability benefit, which pays you 60% of your income every day that you miss work after a waiting period of 3 months. Excuse me. And will continue to pay that same benefit each month until you're either to come back to work full time or go on to Social Security retirement or retire at 65, whichever comes first. But the question I'm often asked, well, what do I do for the first 3 months until I qualify for long-term disability in the event that I'm hurt or sick and I would qualify? And for that, I would answer you have the option of purchasing voluntary short-term disability program benefit through Transamerica. So what the Transamerica short-term disability benefit will do is it'll pay you if you are hurt or sick, can't come to work for the 3 months before your long-term disability plan kicks in. It does have a waiting period of 14 days, so it starts kicking in and paying benefits on day 15 of your injury or illness. So it's not the type of policy you buy where you just get sick with the flu and you're out for a couple of days. It's something more of like you've had a serious illness, a serious accident, something that you're going to be out for a while and you're going to be missing multiple paychecks. So if that is concern of yours in terms of your financial stability, it might make a lot of sense to take a look to see if something like short-term disability is the right program for you and for your affordability and for your protection for your plan. Again, we're going to talk a lot here in a bit about financial wellness, and short-term disability is a great way of protecting your paycheck and your everyday income. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk a lot about the programs for helping you with your mental health. So I'm going to invite the Blomquist team come on up and share a little bit about their services with Blomquist Hill.
Hi, everyone. My name is Curtis Wilcox. I'm a therapist with Blomquist Hale. Just going to run through some of the benefits you get. We are your employee assistance program. So one of the things that we like to cover and make sure you're all aware of is when it comes to receiving mental health services, it is free to you. It is not something you have to go through insurance for, as well as your immediate family members. So anyone in the home, spouses or children, they can have an individual therapist. You are provided to have an individual therapist, and then you can also receive couples counseling or family therapy. We're here to help with any life concern. So we can help if it's needed to do some diagnosing, if that's what's needed, but we also can just cut right through that and look at what the problem is and come up with some strategies, interventions, utilizing evidence-based practices for mental health to make sure you get your needs met. The other thing to consider is when it comes to what we provide, we have access to in-person sessions where you can meet with somebody in an office, as well as Zoom or telephone therapy sessions. We have a 24/7 crisis line as well. If you're ever in crisis, we can help. And It doesn't have to be life or death. We help with that when those crisis calls come through. But we have plenty of people that call in where they are feeling overwhelmed and having a hard time getting to sleep. Or we have people call in who just had a big fight with their spouse or partner and they're struggling and they just need somebody to talk to figure out what to do next. That is totally okay. Again, if you call in, we're going to help you. When it comes to the therapy we provide, a lot of individuals sometimes have questions as to what does therapy look like, and I'd be happy to go into more detail if you have any questions about that. For now, let me just say we don't do session limits. A lot of EAP providers, they will say you've got 3 to 4 sessions. When we get to that point, we're done, we have to move on. Hopefully we've reached your goals. If we haven't, we have to refer you out. With Blomquist Hill, we don't set session limits. Oftentimes, our goal as therapists is to sit down with you, figure out what your goals are, come up with a plan on how we're going to meet those goals, and then we work with you until those goals are met. The only time that we might help you in seeking referral is for more acute levels of treatment when they are needed. Some people might be struggling with stuff that needs weekly or multiple times a week therapy, or they might need more long-term treatment. In those cases, we help people and we guide them and connect them and make sure that they get established with those more acute levels of care. But over 85% of the time, we are able to help people get their mental health needs met with the therapists that work with us. Some other things to consider, we have an app. You can look at that. It's just Blomquist Hill. You can find our app. It's a useful resource. It's got a lot of good information in there. Might help answer questions that you have. But it also can work with scheduling and looking at different aspects of our availability. So it's a pretty good tool to use. We also have a YouTube channel. If you just type in Blomquist Hill, you can find that YouTube channel. And we upload all of our workshops and trainings that we do. They're usually about 45 minutes to an hour long. And they cover a variety of topics, including how to work with a teenager that's struggling with depression, or how to talk to children about suicide. It could be how to manage depression or suicidal ideation yourself. But we've got over 100 videos uploaded now, and so you're welcome to check those out. The one last thing I'll make sure you're aware of is that this is 100% confidential. You don't need to talk to anybody else that you work with. You don't need to go through HR. You contact us directly, and we'll make sure that that information is protected. In fact, even on the off chance that you had a supervisor manager call us to ask if you were in therapy, unless you had signed a release of information, we would deny knowing you. We would be able to say we can't provide that information one way or the other. So it is 100% confidential for you. Again, I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have. Does anyone have questions at this point about the Blomquist Hill benefit? Okay, please come talk to me if you do. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Curtis. And I wanted to piggyback on that and say, please download that app now before you need it. I've been in situations in the past working for previous employers where I just needed somebody that I could vent to about my coworkers that wouldn't be HR. And it took me a long time to find that number. So please just get that information in your phone now for before you need it. You guys have another awesome benefit is here through Navati. It's another mental health benefit, and it's available not just for you, but also for your family. You are able to talk with a specialist about one-on-one sessions, and you can talk about mental health. You can talk about nutrition, about financial health. You know, Daryl touched on earlier about how wellness is so much more than just our physical health. It's also our emotional and our financial well-being. If we're struggling with maybe some debt and we don't know what to do, that's going to affect how we're feeling. That's going to affect our ability to care for our physical health as well. Navati offers group classes, which sometimes it's nice to kind of like be able to have that solidarity with other people who understand what you're going through because they've been there as well. And Navati also has a virtual on-demand well-being platform where they have video, audio, and text content available at the push of a button. So as you can see here, they have a ton of resources, including virtual yoga, which I think is great because I don't know if you've ever been to a yoga class in person and maybe you're not as flexible as you thought you were, and everybody else can downward dog and you can't even like get halfway down. So it's nice to know that you kind of can do that in privacy of your home. They can talk about all sorts of things. So I hope that you also please put this number in your phone, put the website in your phone, so when you are finally maybe feeling a little bit motivated or that's the time to seek some help about something, that you can also get that access right then and there for you and your whole family. Perfect. Okay, we got some exciting stuff coming up.
They say the average person can understand somewhere close to 500 words a minute. I can't talk quite that fast, but I will get close because I'm going to cover about an hour's worth of information in about 10 minutes. So that being said, everybody's familiar with health insurance and life insurance, how all those work, but most people never think about legal insurance or identity theft insurance. They're just as valuable and just as important. They talked a little bit about finances. Most people are still under the impression that financial identity theft is what identity theft is. It's less than 20% of your identity. It's actually the easiest form to catch, and it's the easiest form to fix. And for the most part, it's insured. You know, all your bank accounts and credit cards are insured up to $200,000 per account. It's the other 4 areas of your identity you need to be concerned with. You also have a Social Security identity. Now, you all know your Social Security number is not supposed to be an identification number, right? But in order to have a job in America today, what do you got to have? How many illegal aliens you figure working in this county? Keep in mind, every one of those who have a job had to have a Social Security number. My question to you is, anybody using yours? How do you check that? What report does that show up on? See, most people find out about these things after the fact, after taxes are due, after benefits are being used. And that becomes devastating, life-changing for some folks. You have a driver's license identity. Fake ID is big business. Talk to any college kid under the age of 21 and they can probably hook you up. But if somebody has a fake identity, if I have a fake ID with my picture on any of you guys' information on it, I can go now open a bank account, go get utilities turned on, rent a car, rent an apartment. Everybody accepts it. What if I get pulled over for speeding? Again, my picture, your information. Who's actually getting the ticket? Would I ever show up? Most people find out about these things after the warrant's issued. That's when they start looking at those things. Character criminal identity, it's not hard to figure out why people commit crimes in other people's names. The statistics show about 70% of this is family members. So most people find out about these things when the warrant's being issued or being served. So it has nothing to do with your credit. The scariest form, according to the Federal Trade Commission, is actually 10 times worse than financial. It's literally life-threatening, and it's a medical identity theft. And again, it's not your medical information they want, it's your insurance you want. We all know how insurance works. If I want to go see my doctor, I have to have an insurance card and some form of ID. But please understand, emergency rooms don't work this way. I could go to any emergency room within 100 miles of here. I can claim I'm any one of the guys in the room. I couldn't pass as a lady, so you guys are safe. But and they have to treat me. In other words, they can't refuse me service. I need to know 3 basic pieces of information. I need to know your name, I probably need to know your address, and I need to know you work for this county. That's it, and they cannot deny me services. So if I've got a broken arm, that could get expensive with emergency room visits, x-rays, and all that. But if I have HIV, hepatitis, diabetes, heart disease, or any of those other things, once my private medical information is commingled with your information, the doctors and hospitals can no longer discuss your private medical file with you for fear of violating my HIPAA rights, even though you're the victim. So again, and there's dozens of those. Just Google searches sometimes. The worst story I'm aware of, there was a guy in Chicago, just outside of Chicago, in a traffic accident, unconscious, unable to speak for themselves. They got him to the hospital, pulled his medical file. Everybody here knows you have a medical file, right? That indicated he had some kind of disease, illness, or condition. In an attempt to treat the unconscious man, they gave him the wrong medication, killed him on the spot. So I always ask, how important are your credit scores at this point, right? But how do you monitor these things? You see, there's about 30 identity theft companies out there. They basically monitor three things. They monitor your credit. If something happens, they're going to send you an alert. Now, if it's you, no big deal. Obviously, delete the alert. If it's not you, they're going to send you a kit, a 1-800-INDIA number. It's probably not fair to India. And they're going to tell you how to fix the problem. The problem comes with that is it takes the average person 600 working hours and about $1,500 to fix one identity theft problem. The biggest problem with that is not the $1,500, although that's a lot of money. It's the 600 hours. You see, those 600 hours have to be put in 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Where are you all at 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? How many could sit on a phone for 3 hours on a phone tree trying to get to the right person to solve that problem? ID Shield is a pioneer in identity theft protection. We've been doing it for over 20 years. We monitor your entire identity, your name, your date of birth, social security number, driver's license, passport, medical IDs, addresses, phone numbers, social media, email accounts, literally everything, investment accounts, everything about you. If something happens, we're going to send you an alert just like everybody else. And it's just an app on your phone. Makes it super easy to see. And in the app, it also gives you a credit score. So if that ever changes, you know what's going on. Now, if it's you, obviously, no big deal. Delete the alert. If it's not you, we are the only company with licensed investigators, and we guarantee to restore your identity to pre-theft status in every area. It also comes with a $3 million guarantee. So if something does happen, we can reimburse up to $3 million. Now, they never have had paid out a single dime because they've always fixed it fast enough that people haven't had a problem. And again, some of these things take time, but it doesn't cost, and it doesn't take your time. Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, somewhere around 80% of identity theft problems come with a legal problem. Again, if somebody gets a ticket using your information, that's a legal problem, not just an identity theft problem. Same thing if you owe $1 million in taxes. Again, a legal problem, not just an identity theft problem. Legal Shield is the largest legal entity in North America. We have somewhere close to 7,000 attorneys across North America, and you're covered anywhere in the country. But we don't stop with identity theft problems. We do every other legal thing you could possibly need. Consultation on an unlimited number of subject matter. 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can call and talk to the law firm, and you get the whole law firms. So not just an attorney, but attorneys who specialize in the area of law you need help with. You get the whole law firm. If it warrants it, you get your questions answered. If it warrants it, they'll write a letter and make a phone call on your behalf. Now, I don't know if you've ever got a nasty gram from an attorney, had an attorney write a letter for you, but it sure changes things when it shows up on an attorney letterhead. They'll review contracts and documents up to 15 pages. So just like wealthy people, before you sign it, just say, hey, let me run this past my attorney. See, that's how they get wealthy and stay wealthy. We added to this mortgage document. So if you're buying or refinancing a home, they'll go through all those documents. I just recently refinanced about 3 years ago, I refinanced my house down in Arizona. I got all the paperwork from the mortgage company. I sent it all over to the law firm. The attorney reviewed everything, circled 3 paragraphs, said strike from contract, sent it back to the mortgage company. They gave me a call back about an hour later saying, yeah, we can get those out of there. We'll be ready to close on Friday. So me being curious, I called the law firm. I said, what did we just do? The attorney said, well, there's about $4,000 in charges in that document that they can legally add to your mortgage, but you don't actually have to pay. I said, I don't understand. Explain. So she sent me to page 7, paragraph 3. She said, please read that. So I read it, and it said, they're going to charge me a little over $1,000 to prepare the paperwork so that I can sign it so that I can pay them for the next 20 years. So they're charging me to do the work. I don't actually have to pay that. Think about how many mortgages you signed in the last however many years that you just paid those kind of things. It's unlimited. I got overcharged $28 on my cell phone. When I called AT&T, pay your bill, we'll turn off your phone. When my attorney called AT&T, oops, we made a mistake, here's your money back and some extra stuff. But nobody ever calls an attorney for a $28 problem. This is unlimited. We don't stop with those things. They've got me back or saved me in excess. In the 18 years I've been doing this, over $80,000, just in little things and some big things, of course. We don't stop with just those things. We do, if you get a traffic ticket, they're very good at keeping the points off your driving record and fines reduced. Now, we're not advocating speed. We're not for any of those type of things. If you're doing 80 miles an hour in a school zone, you're going to fry. We can't actually help you. But everybody speeds at some point, either inadvertently or on purpose. If something like that happens, they're very good at keeping the points and the fines off your driving record. And you're covered anywhere in the country. So you go on a vacation in another state, we have a law firm there that will represent you for those type of things. The biggest thing that we do for people, and most people don't understand, is we do a full comprehensive will, one for you and one for your spouse or significant other. The biggest reason people don't have a will is the average cost of a will is $1,000 per person. Well, for most of us, that's a mortgage payment. We want to make sure that that's taken care of. A will is literally the most important document you can own. It's more valuable than your cars, your house, your clothes, your tools, your toys, everything. It's not about your stuff. And so things like, are you going to be left on life support? Who gets to make decisions in your behalf if you can't speak for yourself? And where do your children end up? If you don't have a will that specifies these things, a court will decide those things. Now, everybody tells me my kids are the most important thing in my life, and we all know our date of birth, right? But none of us know the other end of that. Your kids end up in foster care for years and go to whoever the caseworker decides, not necessarily your family members. So we want to make sure you're all taken care of with that. Let me think here. I was going to say something else, but we also give you a set number to defend you if somebody decides to sue you civilly, because you can get sued for anything these days. 50 hours of a tax attorney if the IRS decides to audit you, and it covers last year's taxes and forward, or what some of you who have it, whatever year you started and forward. Anything I have not talked about, things like bankruptcies, DUIs, you decide to rob a liquor store on your way home from work today, or whatever you have to do. We'll still help you with those things, but at a discounted rate. See, our whole plan, defend you, protect you. But if you're out doing bonehead things or breaking the law, we'll still help you with it, but at a discounted rate. Last thing, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I got involved with the company. I'm a retired cop out of American Fork, so it's been a long time anyway. If you're being stopped, questioned, detained by law enforcement, security personnel, or for a simple traffic accident, before you say something that can and will be used against you, get your attorney on the phone. We have an app. You just push a button on your phone, dials you directly in after hours, holidays, or weekends. They took 62 calls or 63 calls last Christmas morning between 6 and 8 a.m. Now, I don't know who needs an attorney on Christmas morning, but we can actually get one. I have some wealthy friends that could get an attorney on Christmas morning, or Christmas weekend for that matter. I can have one on the phone. And again, even a simple fender bender. I've been to hundreds of accidents. I've seen people say some of the craziest stuff at a traffic accident that they didn't really mean to say. They're just confused over the whole issue. We want to make sure that you have access for all of those things. Last thing on here is a gun owner supplement. This is a constitutional carry state, if I'm not mistaken. Let's say you decided to carry concealed and a bad guy approaches. You open your jacket and say, hey, I got a gun, leave me alone. I'm prepared, but I'm not looking for a fight. The moment you make reference to that weapon system, you can be charged with a Class B misdemeanor, which is considered brandishing a firearm. Heaven forbid the bad guy keeps coming and you draw that weapon system. Haven't pointed at anybody, it's just cleared leather. The moment it clears leather, you can actually be charged with a second-degree felony, and it's considered aggravated assault. Under state and federal statute, you have every legal right to do both of those things. The problem is depending on how left the prosecution is, you can still get charged with those things. So on our gun owner supplement, first thing we do is we give you 24-hour access, because most of these things happen after hours, holidays, or weekends. The second thing we do is we give you 60 hours of a criminal trial defense attorney to answer to those charges. In the 8.5 or so years we've had this program in place, they have have a 99.2% success rate in getting these charges completely dismissed or dropped. Now again, this is defensive. We're not out robbing liquor stores or causing a problem. This is protecting yourself. So again, we want to make sure you have access to all those things. Some of you already have our program. If you're not sure what you have, come visit with me. I'll make sure you've got all the right information and the information to download those apps. Any questions? I'll be outside. Thank you.
All right, next up we have a URS retirement.
All right, so I'm just going to spend a couple minutes and just give you a high-level overview of retirement. Most in here I anticipate are public employee, a couple public safety in the back. So let me point you to a couple things. So hopefully you'll come see the table, grab some literature. I'll point out the things that are applicable to everybody. If I'm there, I'll point you in the right direction. And so here we've got the investment options brochure. And by the way, these are all available through the publications section of the website. So there's PDF copies out there that are easily accessible. But this is, to get it in your hands, it talks about our 4 different retirement savings plans, which you here at the county have access to all 4. And that's a 401k, a 457, a traditional, and Roth IRA. And within the next year or two, we're going to be adding, end of 24, beginning of 25 is the approximate timeline. We're going to be adding a Roth component to our 401k and our 457. Now, what does that mean to you? If you're funding a Roth IRA, you're limited to currently at $6,500 or $7,500. That'll go up, it looks like, a little bit next year, but that's where we're at now. And if you can save within that amount, great. But if you're looking to save more into a Roth position, this allows you, when we now attach them to the 401k and the 457, to save up to the Roth, the 401k and the 457 limits. And those are $22,500 to $30,000, so you can put a lot more money away into a Roth position. So it gives you some different options, and we'll communicate that as that comes about. But this is a great brochure to go over the basic IRS rules of what to consider for the tax-deferred plans versus the tax-free Roth IRA. So this is a great reference. It talks about our investments. And on this second to last page here, in this, on my left, you're right, in this corner over here, it talks about your fees that you pay. And the nice thing about our investments with URS is that this is totally transparent to you. And so you can pick up this document and say, hey, I'm investing in a target date fund or whatever, and you can see exactly what you're paying throughout the year. So that's a really nice feature. You don't have to hunt through a bunch of documents to figure out what you're paying there. Another thing to consider is look at meeting with an individual retirement planning advisor. So we have 2 different sessions that you can sign up for. This is all done through your account on the website, and this flyer just talks about the difference between the two. So the first one it tends to be our most popular, and that's an individual retirement planning session where you can meet one-on-one for about an hour with an advisor, and we can discuss your individual situation. Are you on track for retirement? What does it look like for you? The other one you can sign up for is financial wellness. The focus of this is primarily to assess three key areas, and that's spending, debts, and building an emergency fund. We can talk about other things, but those are the primary focuses, things that could help alleviate your financial stress. So you can snag that one. And then to those that are in the Tier 2 system, if you're brand new, right, you want to come grab this document here if you haven't seen it already. And this is just going to give you some important steps to guide you through what we call your Tier 2 choice, which is an option between what we call the hybrid, which is basically a pension plan, and the 401k. You get 10% towards as a contribution to that. It's guaranteed. It's mandatory. It's not a match. It's better than a match, right? It's a 10% contribution there for a public employee. And this is going to get you started, right? Follow these steps to help you make your choice within that first year, which you're going to be locked into. Now, with URS, the savings plans I mentioned, you've got 4 different ones to choose from. If you're a Tier 1 public employee, public safety, public safety firefighter, right? I've got your brochure out there, and this talks about your pension. So Tier 2, right, you've got a choice. You could have the pension option or just the 401k. So you've got some flexibility there, where Tier 1 is just going to have the pension, and then you have access to the savings plans as well. So you've got great options here. It's not cheap to fund your retirement. It takes quite a bit to fund that. And so your employer pays for a great piece of your retirement. And is that enough to get you retired? If we think about, if you were to run the numbers, what are your different sources of income? Is this part going to be enough to get you retired all by itself? And the answer is, I don't know. It may be, but it might not be either. So what are your sources? Consider what they're going to be worth at retirement. Understand how they're going to provide to you, and so you can make the best choices. And I think that you're going to find that there's probably some room to be saving towards retirement. But at least you know the numbers. You can decide for yourself what you want to do. So at a high level, right, URS is providing the pension, retirement savings options. They're great options, and they're a low dollar cost, the savings plans for you, and you've got lots of different choices to make. So come and see me out there. I'd be happy to answer your questions. We can have a conversation, and I can point you to the right brochures there. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I know I'm at least 30 years away from retirement, and every time I hear it talked about, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I'm there. Okay. So enrollment, it's going to be, through UKG, you're going to access that through the Box Elder County homepage. And then, as you see here, if you want to click over, there's as well, you're going to hit navigate, my info, my benefits, enrollment. Hopefully you're all familiar with where it is, but if you're not familiar, again, don't hesitate to ask our lovely HR ladies. Sorry to point them your way. That should just be on that county website, your information, and enroll there. And as a callback to my one insurance joke from earlier, don't forget to enroll during open enrollment. Otherwise, you'll have to divorce somebody you love or marry somebody you hate just to get on benefits later on in the year. And please take care of this by November 17th. Any questions overall, you feel free to come up and ask me. If you have any questions for specific carriers, they are out in the hallway and more than happy to help answer questions for you. Thank you guys so much for coming. I know it's bright and early, and you've never seen anybody this excited about benefits before, but I'm really happy for you guys.
We'll see you ladies. Thank you. The one you got was the one
Thank you for the pity laughs on my one joke. I appreciate it.
Already. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the new one that I'm sending you.
Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Before I talk to you, and then I say,
Thanks for coming. See you
It's okay.
later.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
Can we do it from here?
You're fine, I'm sending an email.
You're good. Thanks so much for coming.
Get lost.
Yeah. She's a cute block.
Making things up.